I was still being gadgeted first. Good afternoon, everyone. How are you? Good. My name is Tumi, Sibanda, as introduced. I'm a life and business coach. I'm a speaker, I'm an author, and an admitted attorney. I'm still being gadgeted. Okay. But I'm not a practicing attorney. I am now full-time in practicing life coaching, business coaching. I work with professionals, I work with entrepreneurs, and I work with leaders as well. So my talk, I'm going to latch a little bit on what you have spoken about, because she spoke a lot about what I wanted to talk about. So I had to sit there and say, I must do some little footwork to make sure I don't give you the same thing that she has given you. So I'm going to try give you something that adds on to what she's spoken about without repeating what she has spoken about. Is that a deal? Yes. Awesome. Okay. So I was asked to come talk about the power of choice. My motto is one of the greatest gifts that a human being has is the power to choose. That's what I live by on a daily basis, minute by minute, second by second. That is my motto. And it helps me to ground me. That motto has pulled me out of being a victim in my life. That motto has grounded me and lifted me to be a giant in my own life. Because I choose to choose, like Bula said, I choose to choose on a daily basis. It's easier said than done. But it is something that you have to build into your muscle root. It's a muscle that you have to build to be able to choose what serves you on a daily basis. So what I want to talk to you about is we get what we focus on in life. So whatever we choose to focus on mentally on a daily basis, it's what we get. I don't know if you've ever heard this saying that says, in life you don't get what you want, but you get who you are. I'm going to repeat it. In life, you don't get what you want, you get who you are. I hope that makes sense. So your being is what makes everything successful or fail in your life. If you go to an interview, who you are in front of that panel of interviews is what's going to make a difference whether you succeed or you fail. So your being is very important. Your being is a muscle that you have to work on a daily basis and master it over time. Your being is a muscle you have to work on over time. And over time you're going to have to master it. So that it's at that point where you're no longer thinking about the being, but you are being. Does that make sense? Yeah. So how do you get to that space where you now master this being and you just rock up and be? Instead of thinking, hey, I think I should be this. I'm going to an interview, I think I must be confident. I must start thinking positive. You just be. Because that circumstance is called that for that being. We are the choices that we make on a daily basis. So this is how we get there. The choices that we make on a daily basis make who you are. So who you are today is the result of the choices that you've been making from the time you were able to make the choices. Do you all agree with that? So I'm going to say something very controversial. If you are in a bad state right now, you have some responsibility in that bad state. I just wanted it to sink in a little bit. Where you are today, you have a share of how you got there. Now this is what happens in us creating our reality, because we create it on a daily basis. Our creation process starts in here, in the mind. We think it. The more we think it, the more we talk about it. The more we talk about it, it automatically happens. And that completes the creation process. You think it, you say it, and you do it. And you do that a number of times, you become it. It doesn't matter what it is. You think it, you say it, you do it, and you do it a number of times. Enough, you become it. So, how many people have been around negative people? And what is the label that you give them? Oh, that one is negative. So and so is negative. So you are saying this is their being. They were not born like that. It didn't just snap and they just happened like that. It's something that they thought, they spoke, and they became it over time. Should I repeat it? When you are negative, it's because you've thought it enough, you've spoken about it enough, and you became it. And the brain, or should I say the mind, there's a quote that I put out one time saying, your mind is a friend that has got a potential to be your enemy. Got that? Yeah. Your mind is a friend that has got a potential to be your enemy. Whether it's going to be your friend or your enemy is your choice. You heard Ausim Tabi saying it is up to you, that you can control your thoughts. Some people find it very difficult to say, can I really? Because thought is flow, right? It flows. It's not like, okay, say we plant a thought and it happens. It flows. Have you tried meditation? When you try to meditate, people say meditation, you stop thoughts. You can't stop thought. It flows. But you've got a choice to say, what do I allow to flow in here? When it comes, I'm saying, is this thought going to have residence in this mind, or is this thought a passerby? You've got a choice. How many of you have got DVD players at home? Do you guys know them? We live in a different world now. Maybe DVDs, we don't know them. What is that? Maybe it's very ancient. Yes, that DVD player, that thing that you put CDs in, and it sucks the CD in, and you press play, and it plays. That one. So imagine your mind as a DVD player, right? Imagine your mind as a DVD player. So if you've got a DVD player, you come home with a number of movies. Which movie do we choose? How Harry Met Sally. That's an old movie. Some of you won't know it. Okay, let me come closer. My dear's Diaries of a Mad Black Woman. Why Did I Get Married? And then you've got Trevor Noah. Let's say you've got those 3 DVDs. The DVD that you choose to play, and you keep playing it, you're going to internalize it. So if you're going to choose Why Did I Get Married, you're going to internalize that. If you're going to choose Trevor Noah, who's going to give you some laughter, you're going to get some laughter in your life. So your mind is like a DVD player. When the thoughts come in, it's like a DVD disc going into the DVD player. and you press play. If you don't like why did I get married, stop. You remember she says? Yeah. Stop. So you stop the DVD player. And then you take it out. Then you put in Trevor Noah and you laugh. It's a choice. Here's the problem with thoughts. When you think something constant enough, it becomes a habit. And when it's a habit, it means that thought has been automated. In other words, you don't have control anymore at that stage. The thought has taken over by itself. So it will have triggers. Right? Someone mentioned that when I'm with this particular friend, I end up being like this. So you'll have triggers. That trigger there, why did I get married? DVD player in your mind. And if you're not aware, if you're not practicing awareness in your life, and your life is on autopilot, those kind of thoughts, they just go and they start running your life. 3 months down the line, he says, my life is a mess. I am unlucky. Right? We come up with labels that justifies the state of our existence. I'm lucky, kinali badi. Oh, ban loile. That's a famous one. Ban loile. Matsala how lawyer. Right? So you get told a lot of things and you start attracting these things because now this is your vibration. This negativity is your vibration. You start really attracting those things. They really will come to you. Have you seen what happens when you put coins next to a magnet? They just run. They just go to that magnet. That's what will happen with negativity coming your way because your magnetic field is just that, negative. You're just calling everything that is negative towards you. Or because you started giving those negative thoughts residence in your mind. While we're still talking about choice, one of the things that you can do for yourself, in fact, the best thing you can do for yourself is love yourself. And self-love is a choice. So is self-hate. It is a choice. Do you agree with me? Self-hate, as much as self-love, is a choice. So if you're going to be thinking thoughts that don't serve you, and they become a habit, they become automated, and you become being that, how much of self-love is that? It can't be. You may tell people you are mad, you think I can just choose to hate myself, but by unconsciously doing things that don't serve you, that does not show love for yourself. So how do you actually love yourself? It starts in here. Being aware of the thoughts, the language, and your deeds. In other words, your habits in your thinking, your habits in your speech, and your habits in your doing. And say, in all these habits, what is serving me? Do they serve me? If they don't serve you, you make a choice. I choose to delete this and start on a new plate. Which means I'm now going to catch myself when I'm thinking negatively and say stop and have a different thought. When I find myself saying something, I'm going to stop mid-sentence and choose a different thing to say instead of saying something that is negative. If I find myself doing something that I say, this does not represent who I want to be, stop and you do differently. It's not easy, but it's something that you have to practice deliberately over and over and over so that it becomes a habit. It takes over. It's automated that it takes over and it becomes you. Some people say, but you're talking about things that are hard and impossible, and say, do you think who you are was easy to become who you are? You've done it over and over and over again. Your negative talk, you started somewhere and you did it over and over and over and you became it. So if you could create the monster that you are, you can create the angel that you want to be. We have the power to create that has been vested in us by God. And most people have parked that creation power. And we always go to God and pray. And God says, but you shoved the power. I've been praying. God is not answering my questions, but I've answered. You've shoved your power. Does that make sense, yes. Bazalwan? You've got the power to create. It starts here. It starts with the mind. So if there's one thing, if they were saying this is the end of the world, you've got only one choice that you would choose. I would choose my mind. Because my mind is the factory that will produce the products that I want in my life. What I choose to put in my life is what will manifest in my life. In the physical, emotionally, and spiritually, it starts in here. It starts in here. So make your mind, this is my invitation to you, make your mind your friend, not the enemy that it has the potential to be. So how do you care for yourself? Some people will run away from taking care of ourselves because it's such a big task to take care of ourselves. Taking care of yourself is not about the makeup. It's way beyond the physical appearance. Yes, the physical is important, but if that's all you're doing in terms of taking care of yourself, you're only doing a fraction of the taking care of yourself. So you need emotional care. It starts in here, because what's in here is going to affect you emotionally. You need to take care of yourself mentally. What is it that I put in my mind? Spiritually, how aligned am I in my life? Or am I disjointed? So your physical, your mental, your spiritual, and your emotional health is very important for you to be able to conquer life. Now, as I said, sometimes we run away from taking care of ourselves, and what we do, we take care of other people. And when we take care of other people, we think, hey, but then there is this thing, when you go back to sleep at night, it's eating you, things are not happening. Why am I feeling like this? I served today at church, why am I feeling like this? You know, I bought groceries for the homeless guy, why am I feeling like this? It's because we haven't really said, what is it that I have to do to take care of myself emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically. So I want to use this to illustrate, just to close, that as human beings, do you want to open this for me since I've got it? Thank you. As human beings, consider yourself as a vessel. That's what we are, right? We are vessels. What's in here? It's empty, right? Okay. So in life, we give, right? Because our life is not just about us. We give. The clients that I work with, I always advise them and say, take care of yourself first before you take care of other people. Because if you don't take care of yourself, what are you giving? Nothing. And sometimes we give toxicity, right? When we think we are helping, we are dumping into other people. So if this is you, my invitation to you is find out, how do I need to take care of myself spiritually? How do I fill my cup spiritually? On a daily basis. There's no leave. Autati leave. So if you want to remain the being that you want to be, you do this every single day. So what is it that I need to do for me to be mentally full? And you do that daily, no breaks. What is it that I want to do physically to be healthy and fine? You do that daily. And the easiest one is breathing. We don't breathe. Human beings, we breathe very shallow. Just take time, 2 minutes, and fill your lungs with air and breathe. You know, just 2 minutes. During your lunchtime at work, take 2 minutes and breathe. Give your brain and your lungs some oxygen that is very necessary. That will help you. We don't hydrate ourselves, we don't drink enough water, and you know. So identify for yourself, what is it that when I say physically I'm taking care of myself, and then emotionally and all that. Now we're almost full. Ne? The cup is full. So I'm here to tell you, people say this is selfish, what I'm going to tell you just now. But if you don't do it, you're going to go to Osun Tabiseng's office and you're going to come to me at some stage. So I'm going to give this to you free. What is in this cup belongs to you and nobody else. Do you get that? So you don't give anyone anything that comes from this cup. It belongs to you. That's true self-love. Self-care, it belongs in here. So when you start giving people what is in here, you start being resentful when they don't say thank you. Oh, I gave her a lift and she just got out of the car and went. Not even a thank you. Was that why you were giving them a lift? For you to get a thank you? If you're looking for a thank you, look in the mirror and thank yourself for the things that you're doing for yourself in your life. Right? So when you start feeling resentful for the things that you're doing for other people, go into that bathroom mirror, look yourself in the mirror and say, what was that? What was that? Why am I feeling like that? She's mentioned it already. Have a CEO meeting with yourself and say, why am I feeling like this? I should not be feeling like this. And be truthful, brutally honest with yourself. Now, here's the important thing. Your life is not just about you, but about others as well. This is where others come in. So you give others what flows, the overflow from here. You get that? Everything that overflows belongs to others. So it is your duty to keep yourself overflowing all the time so that you are available to be available for others. You are available to assist other people. Because if you don't take care of yourself to an overflow state, it means you're going to start taking from yourself. And as I say, that is not true self-love. So when we're talking about the power of choice, you have the power to choose whether you want to be an overflowing cup or you want to be an empty cup in your life. And when you're an empty cup, it's because you have started it from here. And now you are manifesting it on a daily basis. So my invitation to you is when you go home tonight, go home and say, what are the kind of habits that I have in my life? Don't judge them. Just put there and say, I'm in the habit of doing this. Like maybe I come back from work and I just plunk myself in front of a TV and I take the remote and that's me and the TV for the next 2 hours. If that's the habit that you have, write it down. Or I have this habit of, I just go, when I get home, I just close the bedroom door and I'm in there. They don't see me until it's dinner time. Or if you are the kind of people, I go outside and I play with the kids. And so just observe your life and say, what are the habits that I have in my life? That's the first thing. The second thing, ask this question, do these habits serve me? or not. So you tick the ones that serve you and you tick the ones that don't serve you. The ones that don't serve you, you've got the power to choose what to do with them. So you can choose to say, I am going to ditch them, or I'm going to replace them with something else. And the ones that serve you, you're going to say, how do I continue and amplify them in my life? So that's how you actually, you work. There's a book that I read that says you must look at yourself as an experiment. You're a scientist and an experiment in your own life. So become the scientist and then start experimenting with the kind of life that you want. So if you find yourself that in your mind there's a lot of negativity, you're going to start saying, how can I start putting positive thoughts in my mind? You wake up every morning with just one thought. And I'll tell you what I do, example of what I do with my own life. I do what we call declarations. Some people call them affirmations. I call them declarations for different reasons. But you've got to believe what you're going to say. Don't just sing them and think they will happen. So you've got to believe. So one of the things that I say, first thing when I open my mind, my eyes, part of practicing gratitude, I say to myself, I am highly favored by God and the angels that He gave me. And where does that come from? It comes from my own experiences, hardship of the higher grade, where I came through and I chose to believe that the fact that I went through that fire and I am still here, it means I am highly favored. God chose me. Who am I not to choose myself on a daily basis? So that's one of the things that I say every single morning. And the second thing is that I am love, made of love, worthy of my own love. And there are other things that I say. You say that, I'm actually getting goosebumps. You say that every day. Can you see that it's taking me there? I'm saying this now to illustrate to you, but it takes me exactly where I want to be on a daily basis. And whenever I find myself kind of down, because being there doesn't mean life is just going to be a straight line. There will be this in life. When I find myself at the valleys, I don't forget to say, but Tumi, remember, you are highly favored by God and the angels that He gave you. And I'm able to lift myself out of the low and bring myself up here where I can start thinking rationally and say, where do I go from where I am? It's a choice that you make. So when you're in the valleys, the choice that you make is you can choose to sit in the valley and cry about it. Or you can choose to say, this is mad bad, right? Yo. And I am very angry, actually. So you acknowledge that. I'm really angry. But what do I need to let go of about this? You let go what you need to let go of. The feeling of feeling sorry for myself. The feeling of feeling a victim. If not me, who? Who was this supposed to happen to? And why am I crying about it? Would it have been okay if it happened to somebody else? No, it happened to me. What am I going to do about it? And it goes back to that conversation that you were having of say, what lessons do I take from this experience that I have? And we call that reframing. You reframe every experience that happens in your life. Reframing is like if you find yourself in the darkness, you find light in that darkness. That's reframing your experiences. It's a choice. It is a choice. Hard as it is, and no one says it's going to be easy, but if your base is you have trained your mind to reframe bad experiences in your life, then you will be able to say, I am so heart-wrenched, I am heartbroken, I acknowledge that. But I'm at a space where I am saying, what are the choices that I make out of this experience that will make me feel better at a later stage? I want to close with this. Last month, I also had a woman who was raped years ago. So I was working with her. And she says to me, because when you ask people questions, triggers will come. She got triggered and then she became teary and can say, can we talk about the tears that I'm seeing in your eyes? And she started talking about how she got raped in the past and all that. And we went into the reframing. The following session, she says to me, you have no idea. I have been carrying this thing over the years and it has held me back. And the reframing helped her. In other words, she managed to see, on NLP we call it the positive intention out of that bad. That sounds crazy, right? How on earth do you get a positive intention out of such a horrible experience? But my dear sisters and brothers, like Osintebsen said, nothing happens for no reason. It is just about you overcoming the grief and choosing to get above the water. Because that's the only way you can be able to start crafting where to next. You can't do that when you're under the water. So, if mental illness is your visitor, my invitation is to work on every day saying, how do I uplift myself when I find in this space? And the last thing that you do is find what I call an accountability partner, someone who will be able to assist you. When you're thinking positive, you're trying to get yourself above the water is not helping, you've got someone that you can call and say, work with me. I've been treading water. I think I'm going to start drowning. So I need your help. But it all starts in the mind. This is a very powerful tool, ladies and gentlemen. Powerful, powerful creator. Thank you very much.
Thank you.